Hi all, thank you for joining me today. This is Ronan Bouwman, and today I want to talk to you about installing the open source Xavier ad hoc query tool on top of the Jedox Premium OLAP suite. Jedox is a vendor that specializes in OLAP services and solutions, and their flagship is the Jedox Premium OLAP suite. You might know Jedox from their Payload MOLAP engine. The Jedox Premium OLAP suite packages Payload as well as a ETL server, a bunch of client tools, and a XMLA OLAP data access service. And this last component makes this a suitable environment for running Xavier. So if you want to get up and running with this, the first thing you need to do is you need to get the Jedox Premium OLAP suite. The Jedox.com site provides a free software trial download page for that. You have to fill out some fields over there, and then you can download it. Right here, that's quite a large download, so I'm not going to show that, but this will essentially download the installer for the Jedox Premium OLAP suite. So you download it, you run the installer, and then, if all goes well, you will have a Jedox directory over here with the Jedox suite inside and all the different components of the suite. Now, one of the components is an application server, and that's basically a Apache HTTP server. And in order to get Xavier running on top of that, what we need to do is we first need to get Xavier, of course. So we can do that from the Xavier GitHub repository. So that's https github.com and then rpbouwman Xavier. And then from there we go to the dist directory, find xavier.zip, and we can download that. And we have to download the raw version of that. So we do that. We have xavier.zip over here. And what we want to do now is we need to extract that. Just simply extract the Xavier directory out of that. So this gives us a Xavier directory. And what we do is we simply copy that and we paste that into the Jedox Suite HTTPD app doc root, because that's where the root of the application server is served from. So this is the first step, and what we have to do now is we have to configure the HTTP server a little bit, because what happens is that Xavier is a pure web client that uses AJAX requests to talk to the XMLA backend server. And the Jedox XMLA server does not run on the same application server as our application. It runs on a different port, and it's it's a completely separate server. That's just part of the same software product, but still, it's it's not from the same domain as our application. And because AJAX requests are bound to the same origin policy, we have to somehow make the XMLA server appear as if it was running from our application server. And in order to do that, we have to reconfigure the application server and set up a proxy. And this proxy will reroute any incoming requests for the XMLA service to the the proper server and port for the XMLA server, and it will transparently look as if the application server is itself the XMLA server. Right. Now the good news is that all the stuff that we need to set up the proxy is already present in the Jedox platform. We don't need to download some extra stuff. It's already all there. The only thing we need to do is we need to go into the conf directory and find the httpd.conf file. We'll just make a simple copy of that so that we can always revert our changes. And then what we do is we just simply start editing the httpd.conf with a plain text editor. And the first thing we need to do is we need to load the component that has the proxy capabilities. Now, as it turns out, this component is already there. It's this line over here, load module, proxy underscore HTTP underscore module, which points to the modules mod proxy http.so. So if we look here, you can see that inside the HTTP directory, there's a modules directory, and there's all kinds of modules, plugins, essentially for the server. And one of them is the HTTP proxy, right? So that component is already there. And the thing is, this module is being loaded, but conditionally. If defined this particular variable, I have no idea what it is or what it does, but I don't really care. What I want to do is I want to always ensure that this HTTP proxy is being loaded. So I just cut out the line and put it in front of the block, and this will ensure that we always have a proxy module. And the second thing we have to do is we have to set up an actual command that tells the HTTP server to actually reroute the requests. In order to do that, I set up a location directive. Let me just copy it from my blog. So we go to the end of the configuration file, we paste this location directive, and what this says is that any incoming requests incoming to the application server for /Xavier/XMLA have to be redirected to HTTP localhost 4242/XMLA, because that's the default address for the Jedox XMLA service. If you want to know a bit more about how this is configured, what you can do is you can go into the odbdo directory, and there you find a config.ini file. If we open that, then you can see that there's an MDX address 127.0.0.1, which is essentially localhost, and MDX port 4242. And this together makes up the address for the XMLA server. This is the default, by the way. I just wanted to show you where this configuration is stored, but by default it will be this port, so you won't have to do anything else if you installed the Jedox suite with default settings. So we should be good to go right now, and in order to make the server pick up these changes, what we have to do is we have to restart the Jedox suite HTTPD service. Actually, it wasn't running in my case, but let's put it on. So if we made some kind of mistake in our configuration, we would now have had a dialog informing us that something messed up and the service would not be started. If that happens, you can always go into Jedox suite, and then find the log directory, and there look inside the Apache error log, because that will probably contain some information that tells you what you messed up in your configuration. If you still can figure that out, then you can always go back to your configuration, revert your changes by simply removing your hpd.conf and renaming your copy to the back to the original file name, and then you should be good to go, at least with your default configuration again. Now let's get started. We should now be able to access the Xavier application. I installed the Jedox application server on a different port. I installed it on 8181, but that shouldn't really matter. So we have localhost, and then our port number, and then /Xavier/resources/html/index.html, and then when we run it, you can see that it loads Xavier, and here we see the payload, sample cubes, sales, and bikes. We could show that in different catalogs, and then we can start analyzing. So we click the cube, and then we can start our little report. So let's do the trustworthy pivot table, and let's look at profits. So, and let's look at regions, right? So we just look at regions, and let's say we want to look at a particular year. So let's look at 2011 and maybe 2012. Yeah, and so let's look at some products right here. Let's go for all products, and we just expand them, drill down, and here we have a lovely ad hoc query tool on top of our Jedox suite.